Guys, so before I start my review, quick announcement. Victor and I decided that since there's books and comics that I've read that he hasn't and vice versa, when we do reviews on those, we'll do individual reviews. And then when we do reviews on books and comics that we've both read, then both of us will do the review together. Started. So my review today is going to be on Isla and Happily Ever After by Perkins. But before I start on that, just a little quick, couple sentence review on Anna and the French Kiss, which is her first book. It's a really cute contemporary story. It takes place in a boarding school in France, and you don't necessarily have to read all the books in order because the other ones are technically companions, but characters from this book will appear in the second book and also in the third, so they kind of do go together. It's better to read it in order. But yeah, this book is really cute. Like I said, it takes place in France. The main characters are Anna and Sinclair, and it's about their relationship, how they meet, how they fall in love, and all that. And it's the first book. And then after that, we have the second book, which is Lola and the Boy Next Door. And this one takes place in San Francisco. And so it's about Lola and the boy next door, who's her neighbor named Cricket, and pretty much about, he was her first love, and how now that he's moved back into town and he's back next door, well, she no longer loves him, and then their involvement together and realizing all the things that could have been avoided had they talked. So it's, the thing about these books is they both have that one problem that needs to be solved before they can have it all or be together or any of that stuff. I don't really want to give too many spoilers, but I really recommend those two. And then now to get on to third and final book, which is Isla and the Happily Ever After. And so this book is about Isla, who you only see like a tiny fraction of a second in Anna, and it's about Josh, who we do see a lot of in the first book because he is one of Sinclair's best friends, and he's an artist who is doing a novel about his life, like a graphic comic. And the story on Isla is very different from the other two books because she pretty much, Stephanie Meyer, the author, gives Isla her happiness pretty much off the bat. Like, her and Josh end up together pretty quickly. Like, the relationship starts very soon, and then she kind of just takes all that away, and it's very different in that sense. First off, like the cover, you would think this book takes place in New York City, but it doesn't. I mean, it starts there, then we go back to, the boarding school in France. So I know a lot of people have judged this book differently because, one, for that, they said that the city doesn't feel like it was really that big of a character on its own in the book. But, they've both have lived in Paris for a really long time. So, like the city, they know it. They don't have to explore it. They're familiar with it. But it is really nice because we do get to go to Barcelona, and that's a new city for Isla, so we get to see it from her perspective, and I thought that was really interesting, especially seeing at the Sagrada Familia, because I've been there, and it's gorgeous, it's lovely, and I think that Stephanie did a lovely job of portraying the city and, showing how wonderful and great it is. And that whole scene I really loved, Isla and Josh experiencing that together. And, well, I think that's all I can really say without giving anything away, any spoilers. But so if you guys haven't read the book, I suggest don't come back later, go away, and then we can talk about the book together. So yes, all of you who have read the book, spoiler section. So this book, I got the first two books because from Ariel Bassett's channel, she really recommended Anna. She said she loved the book. So I got them, I liked them, and I heard that Stephanie Perkins was going to do a signing at my local Barnes & Noble, and since I had them, I hadn't started reading them yet. I just read the synopsis on the back. And so when she was going to come here, just coming on Tuesday, so I quickly read the books like 3 days in a row, and I hadn't finished this when I met her. So, but it was really cool because, you know, I got to hear her speak about it, and then all my books, you know, got them signed. And so that was really lovely, and getting to hear her talk about the book. And she pretty much said that when she writes the book, she writes from experience, which is why Isla's really different. Like, this book, in her, where she felt like as an author, she didn't really feel like she deserved all her fan base or the people praising her books because she couldn't believe it. So, and she didn't feel she deserved the kind of attention she was getting. Like, she hadn't been worthy of it. So she expressed that to Isla. That's why off the bat she gives Isla Josh, who she has longed for and had a crush on since her freshman year. And then so she gives her all that happiness, and then she takes it all the way because Isla has to earn it back. That's how she felt as an author. So I thought that that was really interesting, and it made me understand the book more and like it more. I don't think if I would have hadn't heard her speak, I would have enjoyed it as much. But you know, everyone has their own opinion. And then I know a lot of people don't like it because they feel like the best part was when you see the other characters from the book, but I think that just enhances to it. I mean, it has lovely parts all throughout. I love how, you know, Isla is all shy and she doesn't realize that Josh has always liked her. And I mean, people may have problems with that, again, because he had a girlfriend in Anna who wasn't Isla. But I mean, he thought Isla didn't like her because of her shyness. So they've always kind of had this interest for each other. They just never were in the right position or the right place at the right time. And life works a lot like that. And so I thought it was interesting that, you know, they started out being shy and developed their relationship from there. And then how Josh talks to her about his graphic novel and she supports him. So it's a really interesting love story. And then the big thing that happens when Josh gets expelled and how that puts pressure on their relationship. They don't really see each other. And then Isla, once he shows her his comic, she doesn't respond well to it because of the naked scenes of his ex-girlfriend and how she feels insecure and doubts that she's, you know, Josh's true love and that she's just a placeholder in his life. And I think those are legit fears that teenagers could have. And I understand, like, when I was reading it, I was so angry in the limo scene because I'm like, if you would just speak about it, it's not really that big of a problem. It could easily be fixed. But at the same time, think about it. When you were a teenager, would you really just say what you were thinking or what was on your mind? So I think she did a wonderful job of portraying that. And then, you know, I do love that scene. Moving on to that big scene where all the characters come back and they're all hanging out and at the cafe and having pizza, and then Sinclair and Anna take off and all of them run to that scene where he proposes to Anna. That was just, oh, that was cute. Him proposing to her at the Star where they both made their first wish, and then all his friends being on the sideline, being a part of it and seeing that moment. I just thought that was beautiful. It just like brought all the books like a big circle and ended it off, you know, with that connection. And after that, how when Josh walks Isla back to her dorms and gives her his new revised graphic novel for her to read. And then the fact that he changed it for her because he realized that she was right about certain things. Like, I love that he was still true to himself in his story, but he did take her advice and it did improve it a lot more. And the whole fact that, you know, he wrote about how he sees her, like, she could see that he really loves her, the way he sees her through his eyes. And then at the end of the comic when she's reading it, and in the comic he's outside her dorm waiting for her, and that she'll say yes to being back with him and they'll be happily ever after. Oh, and she runs out and he's there in the cold. I love that. It was just like totally cutesy book. So I really recommend it. I mean, they are contemporaries, maybe not for everyone, but they are really beautiful books. So I recommend you guys read them.